Ladies and gentlemen, there we are. How are you all? We're live 20 minutes early, like I said I would. Um, yeah, we're going to go at 10:30 tonight because Trish is away tonight. And I know a lot of people want to stay up late and watch Dateline and that type of thing. So I was like, well, maybe people would jump in after Dateline or Shark Tank or whatever else is on tonight. Does Shark Tank still happen on a Friday night? I have no idea. Hey, Peekaboo Cockatiel, how are you? Let's get set up. Let's talk about this first. I will say hello to everyone in a second, but I want to talk about this because I feel like this is so solvable and it drives me crazy. It is Rachel Morin, and I look at these pictures at least once a week, and I'm like, someone must know that guy. Someone must know him. I mean, they must have seen him around LA. He's been involved in break and enters, home invasions. Whoops, I didn't mean to zoom in on her boobs. Sorry about that, Rachel. No, why did it do that again? There we go. All right, we can't do that. I was trying to get you a better photo of that. No, see? Sorry, Rachel. There we go. No. See, it doesn't want to do it. Okay, fine. You just have to have that. That's as big as it'll go. Um, yeah, I reckon someone must know this guy. They have to have seen him. He's around, and he looks pretty distinctive to me, especially with the build, the haircut. He may have changed that by now, knowing that his photo is everywhere. But I don't know, just something about that dude. I feel like if you knew that guy, you'd go, hey, that's the guy. I know him. So, hey Gizmo, how are you? Danny Mitchell, the chat celebrity, is here. Moonlight View, Peekaboo Cockatiel. Hey, Miley, how are you? Good to see you. Look at that puppy dog in the photo. How cute. Danny Mitchell, I thought you were the diva. Aren't you the celebrity? Hey, Kathy Lynch, how are you? Penguin, actually, Penguin brought up a good point in the comments. I only saw it before I came on live. Hey, Charisma. Uh, Penguin said that the Innocence Project that we were talking about yesterday, to do with the case, Scott's case, it's not the same one that we are used to in true crime. It's a completely different um, company or organization. And when I looked it up this morning, it's a company to do with forensic science in California. Let me just find it again, and then I'll show it to you in a minute. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Rachel because her death is so freaking annoying. Because I feel like we can solve this, get her justice, and find the dude because he shouldn't be out in the community. Look what he did to this woman. I mean, not alone that. I mean, he broke into this house and he's obviously very comfortable with invading people's personal space, considering he does this and he's sexually assaulted and murdered a woman as well. Uh, I don't know. It's these cases that really upset me. Not just this, it's all of them. But yeah, I don't know. Hope maybe you guys have a better idea in the chat. But her mum came up with a good idea. Her mum came up with an idea to contact high schools in the area and see if any of the teachers may have taught this person. And because teachers often remember their students, right? And then maybe a teacher would recognize the body shape, the way they move, that type of thing. And I thought that was a great idea because we've seen teachers that turn up to their students' funerals like 40 years later and they still remember them and stuff like that. So maybe that's a good lead. Maybe. Right, someone has to know who the hell that guy is. Hey guys, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how's it going? Um, no tats is weird. I agree. What's going on with this today? Hold on, I want to fix this camera. Camera's just not being my friend today. Well, I can remind you. Hold on. Let me get back to the page, and I will. I got too many links up tonight, guys and girls. All right, here. So it says the Hartford County Sheriff's Office, which has been investigating the murder since Moran's body was discovered on August 6, did not immediately respond when reached by the messenger for updates on Tuesday. Moran was first reported missing when she failed to return home from an evening hike on August 5th. So she was out hiking in the countryside. Less than a day later, her body was discovered in a dark tunnel near the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail, which she had routinely visited all of her life. DNA evidence at the scene linked back to an unidentified man wanted in connection with a home invasion earlier this year in a neighborhood in Los Angeles, California. Home surveillance footage from the LA incident did not show the man, or well, did show the man, but only from the side and back, leaving investigators without an image of his face. Police have described him as Hispanic, in his early to mid 20s, standing at approximately 5'9", weighing 160 pounds. I think that's a good estimate. It said, today the Morans are preparing for their first Christmas without her. Her mom said, Rachel loved the holidays in our house. Rachel and her children will put on Christmas music and put out all the lights and ornaments, spray snow, bake some brownies, and decorate together, stringing lights around the living room and tree, pulling out the seasonal pillows and wall art. She was the life of the party, so she was in her element. Really sad case. Let me see if I can find a little bit more about her. There is this Rachel Moran murder. Maryland sheriff fears suspect could become a serial killer. I think we're probably lucky that we're not dealing with two homicides. That's interesting. I know this information is a bit old, but we're just sort of recapping. It says, while speaking to the messenger, Hartford County Sheriff Jeff Gala said undisclosed details about the incident in LA and what he had seen from Moran's murders lead him to believe the male suspect could become a serial killer. That's interesting. He said undisclosed details about the LA incident. Did he try and attack someone there? That's maybe he threatened them. And they said although one homicide and one is an assault, a serious assault, there are aspects of the crime that are similar. I think we're probably lucky that we're not dealing with two homicides. Gaylor said that he also believes criminals feel more power the longer they get away with a crime, and the suspects will do it again. He said if you look at some serial killers over time, they perfect their craft. He certainly could be one. I'm not saying he is, but I'd certainly say he could be, and that's something we'll all need to fear. Here's another photo of Rachel. It says over the last few weeks, sheriffs in Hartford County and detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department have been investigating tips from the public. They said they have made progress in the case and now have a better understanding of some things. They said the only images of the suspect in Moran's murder are from a security camera at a scene of the LA home invasion. It shows the man shirtless with only the side of his face and the back of his head and body visible to the camera. That's interesting. That's so lucky that they even have that. The fact they were able to link that DNA back so quickly to a home invasion in LA, really, really amazing. Uh, who knows where we'd be without those images? You might have nothing and have no idea who this guy is. And for 30 years, we're just like, oh, who killed Rachel Moran on next week on ID Discovery, the mysterious death and murder of Rachel Moran. Like, it could have been one of those type of cases where it's so fortunate that those homeowners had a CCTV footage in their property. See, this is why sometimes things that you do may affect something else down the line in a positive way. This owner putting up the security cameras, even though they went through a scary assault and a crime themselves, are helping Rachel's case, Miss Moran's case as well. So, very interesting. Both areas have in common. Both areas have naval bases close by. Interesting. Wasn't there an update on who he assaulted in that home? It's been a while since I've looked at Rachel's case. We can have a look. I just saw it today. It came up on my feed and Every time I see that, I'm just like, we can solve this. It's solvable. Alright, LA. Let me see. There's a NBC Los Angeles. It says Los Angeles police are working with authorities on the East Coast in search for a person wanted in a murder in Maryland and the assault of a
A
woman
coast to coast murder mystery.
in Los Angeles. The body of 37-year-old Rachel Morin, a mother of 5, was found in early August in Hartford County, Maryland, on a hiking trail. That's a long distance away from each other, right? So is he traveling the country for some reason? A truck driver? I know that's awful. We always just go, "Hey, someone's in another state. It must be those bloody truck drivers again." Um, it could be anyone. Someone that works in regional sales. Someone said military in the chat. They move around quite a bit sometimes. Uh, maybe he's just running from other crimes. Maybe this crime. I don't know. It says a suspect has not been identified, but a Hartford County Sheriff's Department said DNA from the scene. I'm trying to see if there's this other who they assaulted in that house. Oh, the DNA evidence has come back as a match to a home invasion and assault of a young girl in Los Angeles. So that's what he's saying is the connection to Morin, because they were both young women. And he's saying there's lucky there wasn't a second murder. So he has a penchant for assaulting young women or young girls, either one. Here's the full footage, actually. Let's have a look. So close, right? So close to like seeing his face. If you just turned around, that's probably one of the clearest angles you'll get right there. It's almost like he's being shooed out of the house, right? Like he's apologizing or something, like, "Oh, sorry, sorry." That's almost the feeling I get from watching that. Like they're shooing him out of the property, and then she slams the door. Weird. If he did attack a little girl or something, that's horrible. Yes, they're opposite sides of the United States. Yeah, it's a long way away, right? So what's he doing in LA and then Maryland? Yeah, maybe the mom or the young woman he assaulted? I'm not sure. There definitely is someone at that door though. Look. Oops, there's a hand right there. And you can see an arm and then they close that door. There's definitely someone there. If that person is the person who went through the assault, I can't imagine what was running through their head trying to get that guy out of the house and stop it. Him not having a shirt on is really, I don't know. It's almost like, was he getting undressed to, you know, sexually assault her? Or had he done that already and was able to get some of his clothes back on? Horrible. Let's see. The DNA evidence is tied back to the assault of a young girl in Los Angeles. Let me see if there's more information about that. Of a young girl. How young? Are we talking like teenager, 5-year-old, 18-year-old, 21-year-old? It's a pretty ambiguous statement. It just says young girl, but doesn't give an age. Yeah, I don't see an age for that suspect, that victim. It's a shame. Yeah, hopefully we see a result for Rachel's case this year. That'd be great. Oh, Moonlight View says it's a little hand. That's true, right? That is a good. Her arm looked tiny. So like a little kid. So like maybe like a 9-year-old or something. Whose apartment? What do you mean? Do you mean this one? I think this is a house, not an apartment. Yeah, let's look at that again. I'm watching that hand. Maybe like a if her hands are here, you'd think she'd have to at least come up to sort of like here on the door frame. So maybe like I want to say like 5'1" or something, but I think it's maybe a little tall. Yeah, you guys might be right. Maybe it is a younger girl. But would you think a little girl would shoo a grown man out of a house without getting parents or something? Like an adult? Maybe she just wanted him out of there. I mean, I'm not victim blaming, I'm just wondering. It's really interesting. Um, let's see what you guys think. Hey, Nana Lana. Trish is not doing a show today. Ah, penguin. That is very good. That's very interesting. Look at the angle of the arm. It's upwards. An adult would be downward if standing. That's true because adult would be his height, and the arm, the shoulder would be up higher on that door. It almost looks like she's pushing him out of the house or trying to just get him out, and he almost looks like he's apologizing. That's the feeling I get from his uh, body language. The body language I get from him is almost like, I'm sorry, hey, I'm going, that type of thing. It's or like, it's all right, I'm going, that type of thing. That's almost the body language I get from it. Yeah, let's look at that again. Upward angle. Let's see if it'll play for us. These Twitter things always mess up. It's not going to let us. Twitter, why are you so terrible after Musk took over? Um, let's see. Let's just refresh it. It'll come back. There we go. All right. There we go. There's that arm. Yeah, you're right. It's very angled down, isn't it?
A coast-to-coast murder mystery this morning. Investigators
Hey.
say they've
I was trying to play a video on me. Yeah, I think you guys are right. You ladies and gentlemen. That is a very low, isn't it? Yeah, Penguin, I think you're right there. I think you're 100% right. Yeah, well, this case is solvable. If you know this guy, you've seen this guy, call it in to either Maryland police, Los Angeles police, anyone, and get that tip to them. Would like to see both cases solved. That would be great. Almost right. Heather O'Brien says, it looks like she's rushing him out of the house as parents on the way home. Maybe. But it wasn't consensual, right? They're saying this was an assault. So it's not like they had some sort of rendezvous and it was like, lovers meeting up before parents got home. What was the span between each crime? Let's see. Hey, Emily. How are you? How are you, my friend? What was the span between each crime? Let's have a look. Did they mention when it was August for Rachel? And then when was the LA? They're giving us link to a crime in Los Angeles. Let's have a look. It doesn't. No, I don't see a time. Can't see anything. I can search it quickly. DNA evidence came back as tied to a. Oh, a match to a home invasion of a young girl. It just says a match, but it doesn't say when. Oh, that occurred in March. So a few months before Rachel's murder. So he made it from Los Angeles. Maybe he was running from this crime. Maybe he was running. He left Los Angeles to get to Maryland to get away from this particular crime and then committed an even worse one in Maryland. Maybe that's what's going on. I mean, why else would you travel halfway or the other side of the country? Unless it's for work. They're saying here the suspect is believed to have acted alone, Davis said, and that Moran's killing appeared to be a random act of violence. Really? I don't know about that. Do you guys think that would be a random act of violence when he's already shown a behavior profile to hurt women? I think that doesn't make it random. I think that makes it targeted. I don't know in what sense, but that's what it says to me. Um, have the police tried to do a sketch from this video? Not that I know of. I haven't seen anything like that. Oh, that like a grooming type thing, burnt popcorn. Like he groomed her online and then met up with her. Maybe something like that. She's underage, protecting the family. Yeah. Either way, both cases are sad, and like the cop said, very, very lucky that they both didn't result in a murder, right? That's at least what I think. At least we didn't end up with 2 murders. Hey, Bambi, how are you? Alright, anyway, I didn't really wanna spend a lot of time on this. I just saw her photo and I got entranced with it. I was like, "Oh god, I hope this is solved soon." Um, by the way, the case we spoke about yesterday, the missing teacher, I saw something interesting about that, if I can grab it. Here, where is it? Here. They said they found her in a shed, no foul play, but she left to go to the shops without any money and no phone, and they saying they don't think it's suspicious. Did she get, like, sick in the cold and then tried to find shelter? Is that what happened to her? Because it says here, the family of a teacher found dead in Muskogee say they have questions and need the community's help figuring out what happened. Amanda Harms, 46, was last seen on Saturday, January 13th. Police announced Thursday, January 18th, 5 days later, that she had been found dead in a backyard in Muskogee. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. Muskogee police have told Fox 23 they don't think her death is suspicious, but the family disagrees. Her family says they have no idea how or why she would end up a 10-minute drive away from her home. They say someone must know something. Yeah, because apparently she left her home on foot with no car, and she didn't take any money or anything, even though she said she was going to the shops. Sounds a bit weird. It says Natalie Townsend, Amanda's sister, says the family is heartbroken. She just had so much more life to live, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah, she was found in a shed. Her family says she was last seen around 8 p.m. on Saturday. They say she set off walking to a store but didn't take a phone or money. She left her home near 44th and Denison and was spotted on video around 40th and Broadway. Police say that Amanda's body was found in a backyard near 6th Street and Martin Luther King Street, which is nearly a 10-minute drive away from her home. Her family say she was found in a shed on the property. Yeah, they're saying there's no way that night she could have walked that far, nor would she have wanted to. Amanda's family thinks she may have gotten a ride from someone and are calling out to find out how she died. They say, "We think someone offered her a ride, but that's just speculation." They think she grabbed a ride with the wrong type of person. I don't know what to think about that. Cops are saying no foul play. family thinks it's suspicious. Um, what do you all think? So she was found in a shed at the back of a property after going for a walk to go to a store with no money and no phone. And she ended up around a 10-minute drive away from home, but she was on foot. She wasn't walking. I mean, she wasn't driving. So I don't know. Did she want to take her own life and she just wanted to freeze herself to death, or did she get injured and try and seek shelter for the night in the shed and accidentally froze to death? I mean, I don't know. Nana Lana, hey Ping, have you all heard Alec Baldwin has been charged with manslaughter in the lady's death? You talking about the producer on Rust? That movie? Gambler, hey Gambler. Hmm. Wu says, well, if she left home without any money to go to a store, she may have wanted to take her own life. Maybe. Yes, we did hear about the triple deaths in Kansas City. It's still under investigation, right? Kathy Lynch said, had a breakdown. Maybe. It's just a weird place to go to, right? In the back of a shed. Yeah, I don't know any more than I just thought that was interesting that it's conflicting that the family really thinks it's something else and the police are saying there's nothing there. But it is weird that she didn't take any money if she said she was going to a store. Let's see. Her family said she was found in a shed. Yep. They said the family is calling on the community to help find out what happened. They're asking people to check surveillance videos for any sightings of her between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. last Saturday night. They said, we want those questions answered and we have a right to know. For my daughter, she needs justice. We need to know why this happened or who did it. They said, we're hoping a video is going to show somebody's video what car vehicle she got into. That will help tremendously. If people would look on cameras on Broadway and the businesses heading east. She said she doesn't want anyone else to go through this, but somebody knows something. Yeah, they said Muskogee police said they're investigating, but told Fox 23 they don't think the death is suspicious. They also say the medical examiner will determine an official cause of death. So we have to wait for the medical examiner to rule on what her death is, manner and cause of death. Here's a photo of her. I can't make this bigger. Oh, yes, I can. There we go. Sort of make it bigger. Can I make that go away? Yeah. That's as big as it'll go, but there's a photo of her. This is a flyer they handed out. If you live in the area, please check your doorbell cameras. Very sad. I hope for the family's sake they get answers one way or the other, that they can find some peace. That's all you can ask for. Let's have a look. Alec Baldwin charged with manslaughter again. Let me have a look. How was he charged again? Let's have a look. It says Alec Baldwin indicted for involuntary manslaughter in fatal gunfire on film set. Didn't he just finish his last indictment? It says he's facing a new involuntary manslaughter charge over the 2021 fatal shooting. A Santa Fe, New Mexico grand jury indicted Baldwin on Friday, months after prosecutors had dismissed the same criminal charge against him. Geez, how does that work with the double jeopardy laws or the double jeopardy court thing? I wonder how that works. During an October 2021 rehearsal, we know that. Last April, special prosecutors dismissed the involuntary manslaughter charge against Baldwin, saying the firearm might have been modified prior to shooting and malfunctioned, and that forensic analysis was warranted, But in August, prosecutors said they were considering refiling the charges after a new analysis of the weapon was completed. A report from the experts in ballistics and forensic testing commissioned by the prosecutor said, although Alec Baldwin repeatedly denies pulling the trigger, given the test findings and observations reported here, the trigger had to be pulled or depressed sufficiently to release the fully cocked or retracted hammer of the evidence revolver. Oh, okay, that's why. So basically, they dropped the charges to give the evidence another look at, and now they're ready to proceed again. So he'll have to front court over these charges. The stuff that happened on the set of Rust was amateur hour through everyone, not just Alec Baldwin. It was the armorer. It was a few others, and it resulted in the death of a cinematographer just trying to do her job. And it's horrible that someone has to die just going to work during the day. Doesn't matter if they're in Hollywood or whatever. Like, it's still a death that shouldn't have happened. Not for charge. Okay, yeah, it's sort of like what they did to Morphew. They released that charge without something. They released it without something, and then later on they were able to refile. So that's probably what happened here. They released it and then they were able to refile. Only if the trial ends with a verdict. Okay. Hey, Beth B, how are you? Well, we'll have another trial this year probably then for Alec Baldwin. We'll see. But hey, people need to be held responsible. A woman died. So a woman doing her job lost her life because proper procedure wasn't followed by a bunch of people, and they should be held accountable. It doesn't matter if you packed the ammunition or didn't hold the safety training briefing you were supposed to, if you didn't outline X, Y, and Z for safety practices. You all contributed to the death of that woman, and you need to be responsible and go to court and speak your what happened and the truth and see what happens to you. You know, mistakes have consequences. So we'll find out. We'll find out when he goes through the court system. All right. Thanks for letting me know about that. I appreciate that. Let me get to our other story of the night. If I can find it. Yeah. A Florida man accidentally left his phone in a Walmart bathroom, then a stranger used it to call in a bomb threat. Authorities said Cody Clements admitted to making the threat after he saw people making similar calls on TikTok. Bloody TikTok. A Florida man was arrested after authorities said he used a phone he found in a Walmart bathroom stall to call in a fake bomb threat, and later he admitted he was inspired to make the threat from TikTok. It happened Friday and resulted in the arrest of Cody J. Clements, 28, from Newport. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office said Clements called in a false report of planting a bomb at Neighborhood Walmart in Port Charlotte, an unincorporated community about 37 miles from Fort Myers. They said threats of any kind will not be tolerated in Charlotte County, and for this individual, I believe he learned that lesson promptly. Thankfully, there was no actual threat, but I want to commend the quick responses of my dispatchers. What a silly man. Let's see if there's a photo of him. Let's see. Here we go. I mean, when I find a phone, my first instinct is not to call in a fake bomb threat. It's probably just to hand it in and hope the person gets their phone back. It's not to do this. What kind of smart people do we have walking around? Oh, no, that's not what we wanted. We don't want that guy.
A Florida man was arrested.
No, that's weird. It will not let me do that.
man was arrested after authorities said he used a phone he found in a Walmart bathroom stall to call in a fake bomb threat and later admitted he was inspired to make a threat from TikTok. It happened Friday and resulted in the arrest of Cody J. Clements, age 28, of Northport. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office said Clements called in a false report of planting a bomb at a neighborhood Walmart near Port Charlotte, an unincorporated community about 37 miles from Fort Myers. Sheriff Bill Prummel said, quote, "Threats of any kind will not be tolerated in Charlotte County, and for this individual, I believe he learned that lesson promptly. Thankfully, there was no actual threat to the public, and I want to commend the quick responses of my dispatchers as well as the deputies in ensuring the safety of the scene and in locating this suspect."
That might have been the worst video I've seen on a news site for a crime. Hey, yep, another Maria. She says, seems I'm in time for a Florida man segment. Yes, a Florida man called in a fake bomb threat after he found a phone and was inspired by TikTok. Lindy says, true, but the armor is responsible for the safety of the guns. She's the number one. I have no other thought on that other than if she's hired to take care of the guns, then she's the top dog in all this, right? She's the one who has to face the harsh repercussions of killing a woman due to her work. She was brought in to manage the guns and the blanks or whatever. That's 100% under her control. So, but like anytime in industrial workplace things happen, there's different steps that lead to failure, and everyone along the way who failed in their little bit should be held accountable. But she's the main one, 100%. Like she had followed her job maybe a bit better, even if the company had hired someone more experienced, or had someone there to guide her because of her relative inexperience in the industry, like a mentor or someone to just watch over her a little bit, like an older armorer, because I think that's what happens in other jobs, right? When you start something and you're not quite, a veteran at the job yet, they have other people there to kind of watch over you and give you some advice. But she was sort of left to her own devices to kind of manage this thing because it was on a shoestring budget, and it's just horrible. Has she been arrested? I'm sure she was. Let me have a look. Let's see. You would have to think so, right? It says Rust Armorer charged with tampering with evidence after film shooting. Okay, no, that is a charge, but what's her name? Yeah, Gutierrez Reed, right? Hannah Gutierrez Reed. All right, let me see if there's any more charges for her. Oh, this is interesting. Variety magazine says Rust Armorer was offered leniency if she explained the source of the live bullet. That makes sense. Where did the live bullet come from? It should have been a blank. It says the prosecutor in the Rust case offered a favorable outcome last fall to armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed if she would help explain how live rounds made it onto the film set, but the offer came with a warning that if she refused, she would be hit with additional charges. Gutierrez Reed is set to go on trial next month in Santa Fe, New Mexico, for the death of Helena. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably not. Helena Hutchins, the Rust cinematographer. She faces up to 3 years in prison if convicted on charges of involuntary manslaughter and tampering with evidence. Is that it? 3 years. 3 years. That's all. Wow, that's a deterrent. Wow, you could go to work, not do your job properly, kill someone, and be like, "It's all right, family. I'll be back in 3 years." That's horrible. It says Hutchins was killed in October 2021 while preparing to film a scene with Alec Baldwin, who was holding a gun that fired a live bullet. I get the prosecutor's angle here. This is really the big question. How did that live round get into the set? There should be no live rounds on a movie set, right? Because they're all blanks. You're going to add in things in post production and blah blah blah. And why was it one of those so some of the guns that fire blanks are modified so they can't fire a normal round, which helps with safety. I know some of them are normal guns that can fire altered bullets that are blanks, so there's a couple of things there. So I don't know if that's got something to do with it. Maybe she was manufacturing blanks on set from live bullets or something like that. I have no idea. I'm not a gun expert. It says investigators have still not determined where the live rounds came from. The special prosecutor Carl Morrissey told Gutierrez Reed defense lawyer in an email last September that she believes Gutierrez Reed knows more about it than she has let on. She says, I feel very strongly that she has some notion of how the live rounds came onto set. I certainly respect her right not to come forward with that information and to stay silent. However, if she were to come forward and answer some of these questions, that plague. So, wait, hold on. If she were to come forward and answer some of these questions that plague the victims in this case, that would go a long way towards getting her a favorable resolution. The prosecutor went on to say that there would be consequences if she refused. She says, if she chooses not to, while I respect her decision, I will proceed with additional felony charges we spoke of. I mean, they just want to get to the truth of how a woman lost her life. And I think discounting a little bit to get the truth is a good idea because we may never know, and maybe it's better to know. But I wonder how much extra years these extra felony charges would add on to this really small 3 years that they were talking about for involuntary manslaughter and tampering with evidence, because that's a very small sentence. It says here, Bowles responded by invoking his client's rights against self-incrimination. A few weeks later, on November 16, Gutierrez Reed was indicted on a charge of carrying a firearm in a liquor establishment, a fourth-degree felony according to the indictment. She brought a gun into the Matador, a Santa Fe dive bar, on October 1st, 2021, 20 days before the shooting. Bowles is now seeking to have that charge dismissed on several grounds. In a motion filed on Thursday, he argued that the charge was filed vindictively in retaliation for exercising the right to remain silent. Yeah, interesting. I see what they're trying to do. They just want to find out how those bullets got onto the set, but you can't offer her anything um, like immunity. It's not possible. She needs to be held responsible. So. Marlon Clausen said they were messing around and firing live bullets at tin cans, not a very professional surroundings. Doesn't seem so where you're supposed to be, um, you know, pretending. Movies are pretend. They're not real. Although it is real because someone got killed, but I'm just saying they're supposed to be fake. Everything's supposed to be fake. The blood, the knives, the swords, that type of thing. Low budget movie set. Yeah, that's what I read as well. And that many people quit because of many safety concerns. Yes, I did see that. That there was crew that actually staged a mutiny days before because of how bad the safety conditions were on the set. That and the like housing and food and things like that, they just weren't up to standard and they were being treated like crap basically. Hey, Diane Marie says, my son is a cameraman for many years. This was a mess. Definitely sounds like it. Let me just check here. So we're going to get a lot of trials this year, apparently. A lot of trials. Let me see what else. DJ says, I thought the live rounds came from people wanting to ping, the word we use to shoot cans, etc. That's irresponsible anyway, right? To bring live rounds onto a movie set, no matter what you want to do with them. You want to shoot pumpkins or tin cans out in the desert, it's still irresponsible. They could get mixed up and someone dies, like what happened here. many violations on that set. Yeah, I did hear that there was quite a few issues with that place, but I don't. Some people tried to say that's normal for low budget filming, and I was like, if that's true, how have we not lost more actors in the past from mistakes or camera cranes falling on them, that type of thing? So, yeah. Let's have a look. All right. So DJ sent me this, and I wanted to talk about it briefly because I'd never heard of this case. But give me 1 minute. I just want to grab a drink. Hold on. Lindy says, "What happened is precisely why there are not supposed to be any live rounds on set. Yeah, it's a hot zone, right? There's supposed to be no live ammunition anywhere where there's actors or workers or whatever." Moonlight View says, "This was a special rehearsal. They don't ever stand in when a gun is being used. They shoot remotely." I get what you mean. Yeah, I have heard that it's a work industry of silence. You don't speak about things if you see them, and you know, if you do speak up, you ain't getting invited to the next film, like film crew, that type of thing. Happens in a lot of industries, unfortunately. Even things as simple as painting, it happens in. There's a lot of violations in painting and like commercial painting. There's a lot of rule violations, and if you speak up, you just won't get any more work, and the workers know that. Hey, Sprinkle Donut, how are you? Sprinkle Donut, good to see you. It says, "It is not illegal to not do your job. However, she can be sued in civil court." Okay, that's interesting. Hey, Catatonic, good to see you. Glad to have you, by the way, Sprinkle Donut. Thanks for being here. All right, hold on. Let's get to our next story. But the Rust thing is interesting. It'll be a big trial this year. By the way, I want to thank my friend, EDM Leisha. She says, "For Rory and Muffin for sharing their Papa Ping with us, crazy chatters." Leisha, that is very kind of you to send in a donation. That was very sweet of you. And my cats are perfectly fine sharing me with you guys. They only want my attention when I feed them. So that's fine. But thank you. It's very kind of you to send that in. Uh, Moonlight View says, "Don't get me started on John Landis." Okay, we won't. I promise. No John Landis for you. All right. So I promised to show you a little bit of cell site stuff tonight, and I will show you a little bit. So let's have a look at this. I wanted to show you why you see those weird sort of symbols on the maps, like for quad documents, and I'm going to show you why. Because a lot of people ask me, what are those things, Ping? What are those weird triangles and that? And I was like, well, they're quadrants, and I'll show you why and what they mean. Just let me get up to the correct page, and I'll show you exactly what they're used for. So if you've seen it on the Long Island serial killer documents, you'll see that weird thing that kind of looks like that shape or that kind of shape, and they're all over the page, and you're like, what are those things for? I will show you. This document's super long. Yeah. All right. I found it. All right. All right. Welcome to Ping's Cast Plotting Cell Towers TED Talk. Welcome to my TED Talk. No, it's not a TED Talk. Let's have a look. So cell tower sectors. So you see these different sectors: sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, alpha, beta, gamma, and they're sort of cut into the shapes that you see on the mapping, and they're 120 degrees around the circumference of the 360. So you'll see here, this is sort of the way they do it. Tower sector orientations, it's just an example, can vary tower to tower. It says first determine your sector and azimuth. It is sometimes simpler to think of degrees as an hour of a clock, which is, yeah, it would be easier if you think of it. I think of it as like a clock and not in degrees. It's much easier for me. So you'll see, you overlay it. This can be translated to a map by using the same concept. Determine the cell's site and corresponding sector. In the example below is 240. The area is 60 degrees in either direction, or 2 hours is the coverage area. So this is sort of the coverage area. And then determine the proper azimuth and orientation. Draw the sector depicting the azimuth in the center. A traditional three-sided tower will have a sector width of 120 degrees. The sector's estimated range is based primarily on the distance to the nearest neighboring tower in the direction of the azimuth. I'm probably saying that wrong, so if people are getting irritated, I'm sorry. Urban areas with a higher density of towers have smaller coverage areas. As a general rule of thumb, a tower's range can be depicted as 70% of the distance to the next neighboring tower. The actual RF coverage can be mapped using cellular survey gear and completing a test drive. So you can actually, okay. So this is what you see on the maps. You'll often see these on the cell tower maps, and we saw them on the Long Island serial killer one. Hold on, I can bring it up and I'll show you. If I can find it. Wait, that's not it. Give me 1 second and I'll bring it up so I can show you an example. All right, there we go. Where's their cell tower? Nope. Here. So this is from the Long Island serial killer, or Gilgo 4, Rex Heuermann document from the Supreme Court earlier this week. And there you go. You can see the same type of thing with the range is like sort of like here to here, and it covers this area, or they reckon it covers around that much. There may be many towers in this location, and you can kind of see they were trying to show you where Rex Heuermann's, I think that's Rex Heuermann's office there, and this is why you see them on the documents within court documents. So, because I get a lot of questions, what are those things being? So you can see it's got some more details about the target phone, call duration, and things like that. We can get more into that for you. All right, let me swap back to the other one. But it's very interesting, and the way they use this, and I'm going to show you some of the processes below as well. Where's the bit? So they're able to search for towers by time frame provider, local carrier databases, that type of thing. They can search for different areas. They can download it. But where's the bit? I wanted to show you, people often are like, why don't they just get the tower dump? And I want to show you why it can be a pain in the bum. So you see, this is just the process for overlaying cell site information into the Google Maps. Look at all these steps that they have to do. It's not simple, and it takes quite a long period of time to set up. Look at all this 3D mapping. Where is... So you can see another type of locator tool. Where is the cell tower dumps? Okay. Cell tower dumps. Look at the cost per tower here. So you got like Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, US Cellular. So data is available for 1 year. and it's $50 per tower. So if you need several towers to make a case and your police department has 400 cases on the books every year, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars per department per year to Sprint, Verizon, or if you need several different towers, you need to check US Cellular, T-Mobile, and AT&T for different burner phones and this and that, or you need all four of them to see certain details. It's a lot of money. Some of them are only available for 60 days. Some of them are available only for 8 days. It says RTT data is available for 8 days, and it's $5 per 15 mins per tower. So that's only for 15 minutes of time. Imagine if you needed, like, I don't know, you need 4 days of tower data to find, like, people talking to each other or murderers messaging a hitman or something, and you need to cover 2 different suburbs within New York City or something like that. You could be looking at many thousands of dollars, and I think that's why they don't use it all the time. They try and, use which ones, they have to. So it's a bit of money, it's a lot of cost. I was surprised when I read this. I thought it was sort of a service that they provided to the police. I didn't think they charged this type of money. Hold on. My bloody cat. Hold on. All right, we're back. The cat was trying to play with stuff it shouldn't. Um, yeah, so I thought you guys might find that a little bit interesting at least. And let's have a look. So this cast document's a little bit out of date, unfortunately. It's from 2019, and some of this stuff is out of date now. So you got stuff like Apple. What processes they have to go through to even submit stuff to Apple. So they like submit request through your local law enforcement email address, including completed form and email. Include emergency disclosure request in subject line, and then you need to provide all this stuff too. I think this is what they can provide. Information available from Apple includes, but not limited to, the following: device registration, customer service records, iTunes, Apple retail store transactions, Apple online store transactions, iTunes gift cards, iCloud, Find My iPhone, extracting data from passcodes locked iOS devices, other app available device information, requests for Apple retail store surveillance videos, Game Center, iOS device activation, sign-on logs, and My Apple ID and I Forgot logs, and FaceTime. They can get all this from Apple. They even have a 24/7 request number here. Cat, get down. And then here's another one, OnStar. So OnStar is the one that's in a lot of people's cars, right? So OnStar customer service records, audio and/or general account information requires receipt of a subpoena, court order, or other proper court-issued document. In the subpoena, identify date and time of the occurrences, description of the service, and/or account records being sought. To locate an OnStar account, provide at least one of the following, like VIN number, subscriber's full name and mailing address to include zip code, home file, home phone number on file, OnStar account number, OnStar hands-free calling number, and then it says request to identify an OnStar Good Samaritan will require the date of the call and the OnStar case number provided to 911 dispatch by OnStar at the time of the call. And then they're saying here what they can get from OnStar, which is like vehicle locations, vehicle activity, but it says they do not create, receive, or maintain vehicle activity such as speed, speed, braking, ignition cycles, lock status. So they're saying that if you get in touch with OnStar, they don't actually log any of this. So if you're looking for someone who's speeding or something, they can't do that. What they can do, they can get you any voice calls or location data. So if you called OnStar through your phone, through your dashboard, they goes through their call center, they are able to get those calls from OnStar. And in the event of a crash and it automatically calls OnStar, they are able to get those calls as well. And that's including your vehicle location. We've seen that used in different cases. So they have quite a lot here. And then you can see here the different um, provider overviews, what service engineering data stats do they have, location-based services, so which ones can get locations for people's phones and how they work. You can see all the sub-brands underneath each one. Sprinkle Donut says, this is why they should not have divested ATT in the 80s. Yeah, that's a good point. I find this quite interesting. I know some people don't, so I'm not going to spend a million hours on it, but I just wanted to show you the kind of stuff here. So this is provider retention period. So a retention period is data that they keep and for how long. So it says like, let's look at tower dumps. AT&T 7 years. Cricket, which is an AT&T sub company. They keep it from 2015 to present. T-Mobile's 2 years. Metro PCS is 2 years. Sprint Mobile is 18 months. Verizon is 1 year. And US Cellular is 1 year. So you see this, if you need these dumps when a crime has occurred, the quicker you request that information, the better it is. Now, I know some of these have changed. I know that for a fact. Some of these are longer, and I think some of them are up to 5 years now. I don't know why that changed, but some of them did. And let's have a look. So say you have voicemails on a victim's phone. AT&T stores all voicemails. Cricket stores all voicemails. T-Mobile only for 14 days. Metro PCS is 14 days. Sprint Mobile is 20 days. Verizon doesn't keep them at all. And US Cellular does not keep voicemails. That's interesting. No retention period for voicemails for Verizon or US Cellular. I find that very interesting. And this is just a outline of how to use mapping programs for AT&T, T-Mobile, Metro PCS, Sprint, Verizon, and US Cellular, the different type of things you have to go through. It's quite complex. These guys, you see them on a map in like a court document, and you're like, wow, that looks pretty simple. It's a triangle on a screen. But they actually have to go through quite a lot of just different processes and applications and this and that. So they're saying like, how does AT&T send records? They will email PDF and text files to secure law enforcement accounts. Always request a text file, which will include voice, SMS, and data. Records are also available on CDs. On CDs? Is that what we do nowadays? We still burn things to CDs? Yeah, customer data records, voice includes for AT&T. Their voice records include incoming, outgoing, complete, incomplete, block calls, location, international calls, roaming calls, and calls outside of the AT&T network. SMS includes sending, receiving, when it was received, originating and terminating numbers. Location does not include content. That's interesting. So for AT&T, it does not include content. That's interesting. Yeah, so there you go. There's some interesting So look at this, more it's more fees, $325 installation fee and $5 for each day. So it looks like the cellular companies probably make a fair bit of money from law enforcement requests. Looks like they do get quite a lot of money. So this is sort of like tower list data, like the latitude, longitude, the CID, the LAC, different things. So yeah, all right. I don't want to bore people anymore, but I do get asked about this a lot. So I wanted to find this funny photo. I want to show you guys something. Where is it? We have to look at this funny photo before we finish, because it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Hopefully, I can find it for you. Here, these are all cell towers. All of them. These are all cell towers. This cactus here is a cell tower. This water tower is a cell tower. This tombstone is a cell tower. This flagpole is a cell tower. This fake windmill is a cell tower. This silo apparently has a cell tower in it. This one does too, this brick facade. You can actually see it. It's these outside square things here. These are actually the cell towers right there, but they've made them blend in. And apparently somewhere here is a cell tower in this photo too, but the cactus just gets me every time. I'm just like, who walks past that cactus every day and is like, man, that cactus never grows. It always stays the same size, you know? Yeah, I know the text is hard to see, guys. It's not my document. I didn't make it. It's a text from the FBI, and that's as big as it gets. See, oh, there we go. It's sort of that's as big as it gets, unfortunately. Yeah, I've showed the cactus cell tower once before. It's like I find it hilarious. I've never seen anything like that here. Why dump them though? So they dump the tower data to look for certain things. They can look for ping locations or any information that transmitted through the tower, and they do it so they have that information in the future. So they may not need it today, but maybe you have a cold case where someone went missing and their phone pinged a few towers before it got turned off. They'll often request those towers and then keep that information so they can go back and look at it later. Maybe they need something from it. Maybe they need to find a suspect, that type of thing. Give me 1 second. Moonlight View says, well, honestly, the mega corporations can afford to keep data, in my opinion. Yeah, I found it interesting just how much they charge the police. I would have thought, like I said earlier, it was a free service that they provided to law enforcement, but it is not. It is charged a lot for different things, like not just tower dumps or whatever. They charge for this service and that service and blah, 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 and even OnStar charges. And I guess it costs a worker their time. So, all right, give me 1 second. I just want to drink. All right, we're back. Yeah, it's very nice. 59 people watching. That's very cool. I appreciate it. For a Friday night, that's not too bad. Although I wish there was more. We try and do interesting things on this channel. I would like to go into the in-depth of the networking analysis for this, but I am afraid I will geek people out and make them very bored. But we could do a networking security lesson on this at one point. But yeah, let's see if there's anything else interesting I can show you. Oh, this is sort of interesting too. So they sort of say like this is where the crime scene is. Can I make this bigger? Oh, there we go. So, like, say that's in this block here, and that's within that tower location or the area for the tower. And then I think they show you. Oh, they're not going to show you that bit? Hold on. I may be misremembering. So they're saying on October 8th, 2018, approximately 5 a.m., the victim was stabbed multiple times by the suspect. The crime occurred at 3597 Anywhere Street, Pittsburgh, PA. And they're saying that's where the crime scene was. There was one where they showed you like a fake. Is this the one? No, there was another one where they actually showed you how they overlap the information to find a suspect's phone within the area of the tower near the crime scene, but that's not the right one. Sorry, I thought that was the correct one, which is really interesting. That's not. Might not be able to find it. This document's like 200 pages long. No. All right, that's okay. Yeah, it was more about I wanted to explain what those little quadrants were on the court documents because I think they are quite interesting, and I get a lot of people emailing me asking what they are. And now you know. Now you know what they're used for and what they are doing on the court documents. One day. Yeah, it would be nice to get to the 1,000. We'll get there eventually. All right, one more story for tonight. One more. You want to go back to true crime instead of boring computer talk? All right, let me grab the next story. Actually, I know Kathy sent this in, and I was able to find it. She said, Ruby to the rescue as dog helps save owner who fell into frozen Michigan lake. That's a good dog. It says, a man who fell through the ice on frozen Michigan lake was rescued after a quick-thinking state police officer used the stranded man's dog to get rescue equipment to him and pull him to safety. Isn't that clever? Bystanders called 911 on Thursday after a 65-year-old Traverse City man fell through the ice-covered Arbutus Lake. The body camera worn by Cameron Bennett, a Michigan State Police motor carrier officer, captured the rescue, initially showing the man trapped in the frigid waters with just his head and shoulders above the thin ice and his dog standing by his side. It shows Bennett's first trying to throw a rescue disc tethered to a rope out to the man. When it fails, Bennett asks the man to send his dog to him. He says, "Send your pup here. Will she come to me?" He yells to the man, who replies that his dog's name is Ruby. And he says, "Ruby, come here, Ruby." Bennett shouts in the video before whistling for the canine, which runs to him and arrives with a wagging tail. The officer ties the rescue disc to the dog's collar and asks the man to call Ruby back to him. When she returns to her owner, Bennett tells the man to take the disc from Ruby and start kicking his legs. He said, "Bring your feet up to the surface by kicking your legs," pulling the man onto the lake's icy surface, urging him to hold onto the disc as he keeps pulling on the rope, dragging him to safety. That's really clever. Is this a piece of equipment they always have? A disc people can hold on to get above the ice? I've never seen anything like this. Let's watch the video of the puppy dog.
Did you walk in from here? I'm gonna try to send this out to you, okay?
Oh, he's a far way out.
Send your pup here. Will she come to me? Ruby, come here. Come here, Ruby. Come here. Will she get a hold of this? Come here. Come here. Ruby.
Oh, what a good dog.
Come here, Ruby. Come here. Come here. Call her. Call her.
The dog thinks it's a game. The dog's like, what game is this?
Stay right where you're at. I'll keep pulling him. You stay here. Just stay there on your belly. Keep your hands there on your belly. Ruby.
Wow. That's so lucky. What if the dog wasn't there? What would they have done? They would have had to, I don't know what they would have done. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to get rescued that easy, but what a smart dog. Although the dog thought it was a game. The dog was like, what game is this game? I want to play with this giant frisbee. I did find the video. That is the video. He is a lucky man. Very lucky. Hold on. Let me grab the next story for you. Let me grab the next one for you. Yeah, I know. People always ask me for the cell data stuff, but then every time I start talking about it, our viewers drop off. So I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to make like a standalone video for it and just do like this is an A to Z of cell site analysis and then people can watch it if they want to, rather than trying to do a live show on it. That way I can better explain some of the protocols in depth because some of them it's not easy to explain in like 2 seconds. You have to sort of show you different examples of how certain networking protocols and IP protocols and things like stuff like that works. Let's grab this. Let's get one more story for the night. Three teens charged with murder of pizza delivery driver. They plan to order pizza and snatch it, according to WDJT TV, or CBS News. Three teens charged with felony murder in death of Domino's delivery driver. There's a photo of the three teens, and this is the delivery driver. The three 17-year-old boys are now charged in the homicide of 33-year-old Antone G. Jr. It says Amia MacArthur, Kayshawn McNeely, and Damian Patrick each face one count of felony murder. A criminal complaint says G was delivering pizza near Sherman and Congress when he was killed the night of January 10th. He was an employee at the Domino's located on 72nd and Capitol. Investigators say surveillance footage obtained from a home near the scene of the crime shows G standing on the front steps of the residence at Sherman and Congress. He appears to interact with two people and a struggle begins. As a third person starts to run westbound, and as the struggle continues, multiple gunshots are heard. After a fifth gunshot, one of the three individuals is seen carrying an item that appears to be a pizza delivery bag. Officials say the video then shows the person with the delivery bag run towards the struggle, and a sixth gunshot is heard. The three run away, and G is seen laying on the ground. Is there a video for this that we can watch? That's horrible. I feel sorry for he was just doing his job, and these three punks thought they could steal from him and kill him. It says Domino's confirmed G was working when the shooting occurred, according to the complaint, noting that the order was placed at 9:47 p.m. and was believed to be delivered to an address near Sherman and Congress. A Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office report that G suffered 3 gunshot wounds. The accused are due in court for initial appearances on January 19th. Horrible. Let's see if there's a follow-up for this. Here.
Friends of a Milwaukee police pizza delivery driver believe that he was killed on the job. While police haven't confirmed that, they do say his death was related to a robbery. CBS 58 Stephanie Rodriguez joins us now in the newsroom with more details on this very bizarre story. Stephanie.
Amanda, I've spoken to friends of Antone G. Jr. who say he always had a smile on his face and that he was their #1 supporter. Around 10 o'clock last night, police arrived at Congress and Sherman to find 33-year-old G. Jr. dead on the sidewalk. We've learned he worked close by at the Domino's on 72nd and Capitol. While Domino's employees acknowledged knowing Gee Jr., who went by Tone, they did not comment on his death. Friends that I've spoken to today believe he was killed while delivering pizza. They say his loss is something they're struggling to understand, calling Gee Jr. amazing and that there was never a dull moment with him. Milwaukee police are searching for the person or the people responsible and ask anyone with information to contact them. To remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 414-224-TIPS. A balloon release in his honor is set for 6 tonight near where Gee Jr. was killed. Reporting in the newsroom, Stephanie Rodriguez, CBS.
Lost his life just trying to do his job. I mean, Wu says, what is wrong with teenagers these days? I have no idea. Moonlight View says, my hubby rescued a dog on a frozen pond behind our house in the mountains. He jumped in and swam back to shore. He is very lucky he didn't freeze to death, and that is very heroic actions. Tina says, what a sad story all around. I agree. I mean, we've seen a couple of times tonight people just doing their job and they die for it. Shouldn't do that. You should make it home to your family. It says here, outrage as nearly 600 grave markers are stolen overnight from historic Compton Cemetery, where city founders and Civil War veterans are buried, as furious locals slam LA Council for doing nothing to stop the string of headstone thefts. Interesting, we had the same thing happen down here in Australia. It says nearly 600 grave markers have been stolen overnight from a historic cemetery in Compton. Furious residents have slammed the local government for taking no action. These ransacked Woodlawn Celestial Gardens, which is one of the oldest cemeteries in Los Angeles and is the resting place for city founders and veterans from the Civil War. Footage shows empty space and rubble where headstones made of bronze and copper once stood. The stolen property is estimated to be worth more than $100,000 and is believed the thieves plan to melt them down before selling it. Celestina Bishop, who owned the cemetery for 4 years, claimed only one council member got in touch with her about the theft and vandalism. The man who founded Compton, the city that you represent and stand for, children are buried there. How horrible. Oh, wow. It looks like they like smashed the headstones. They didn't just remove the copper, they broke it. That's horrible. Yeah, they've completely pulverized them to get the copper plates off. They might have been there for 100 years. Here's a photo, apparently.
This is Woodlawn. I wanted to show you guys how pretty and beautiful and green it is. We are having the misfortune of people who are coming in and taking the bronze. So what we're discovering is that this row right here were 12 headstones that were bronze. You see this one? They weren't able to smash up the concrete and grab it, but they took the wall plaques. So whoever it is, they're coming for these medals. They're coming for these plaques because those are what's been. Oh, I see. And they're taking the bronze flower holders as well. So people are coming for money because they came through two. It's more than one because they came through that entrance and they came through a hole in a gate in that entrance. I will keep you posted with more.
The disrespect for the dead is disgusting. I mean, some of these people were your own city leaders, civil leaders, war leaders, people who are even just community members who maybe even some of these people are related to and they don't even know. That's just, there's some things in life you just don't do, and annoying the dead or stealing from the dead is just horrible. And I hope they catch the people doing this, and I hope they make a public example of them. I really do. They need to be brought out into public and shamed. The only way these things change is if we shame these people. Don't hide them in a jail. Bring them out, do a press conference, and say, these are the scumbags who stole from the dead. These are the scumbags who thought money is more important than these grave markers and headstones and flower vases for dead people. You know, this is the only way it'll change. If you do that, other people who think of doing this will be like, "Oh, I don't want my mama seeing me on TV being shamed by, the city mayor and the LAPD saying that I'm a scumbag who stole copper and stuff like that." So that's the only way it'll change. If you just charge them and put them in the jail system or the court system, they'll never learn. They'll be out back on the street and they'll do it again next week. But if you bring them out for a public shaming, because that's what has to happen, you that's the only correct punishment for this, really. You can't replace the headstones, they'll long be melted down. And any jail time they do is going to be really insignificant. It won't make an impact on them. But if you bring them out into public and show the community, I know it shames their family too, but it'll change. It'll make change. That's what they need to do. Because I don't know what the sentence is for that, but it can't be very much. It's probably just theft or something. It's probably not that much. What is it? Theft or what's 100 grand in theft? Hold on, 100K. Let's see. It's still a magistrate court thing, apparently. Hold on. 1 second. No, they said it was about 100,000, so I don't know if that's a real estimate or not, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We don't know. I can't find anything on whether that would be correct. Hold on. California Penal Code. Grand theft is stealing more than $950 worth of personal property, real estate, money, or labor. Stealing $950 and less is treated as lesser crime of petty theft. So it'd probably be just grand theft. Grand theft by larceny. Okay. They could probably get done by grand theft by larceny. Because it says you do not have permission to take it from the owner. When you took the property, you either deprived the owner of it permanently or taking away the owner of a long period of time that would be deprived of a significant value or enjoyment of it, and or you moved the property and kept it for a period of time. Okay. So they probably removed the property and melted it down, therefore removing it from them permanently. So they would probably grand theft by larceny. Yeah, that seems to be the charge that it could be done for. Okay, there's a penalty enhancement. Okay, so you get 1 year extra if the property was worth more than $65,000. You get 2 years added if the property was worth more than $200,000. So it sort of goes up a little bit as the value goes up. You can get penalty enhancements for it. You heard the cats? It wasn't me, it was Mrs. Ping's feeding the cats right now. So if you heard the taps and the clinking and all that, that's from her. The cats are here like eating just there. It's probably Wowie slurping up her food. She eats like a dog. We don't know why, but she eats like a dog. Literally, she's like, no, 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 no. She just eats like her food's gone in a second. And Muffin picks at it like he's a ballerina. He just sits there and he's like, I'll only have one morsel of food for 4 hours. He's weird. He doesn't eat a lot of his food. And then some days he'll eat everything, but he's more of a grazer. Yeah, there you go. So you could get desecration of a grave too. Desecration of a grave, LA Penal Code. Let's see. Desecration of a, no, that's Louisiana. Penal Code 594.3 PC makes it a crime to knowingly vandalize a place of worship or a cemetery. The offense can be charged as a misdemeanor carrying up to 1 year in jail or a felony carrying up to 3 years in jail. Okay, there's another one, 594.35. A person is guilty of a crime punishable. It says destroys, cuts, mutilate, effacates, otherwise injures, tears down, removes any tomb, monument, memorial, marker in a cemetery, or any gate, door, fence, wall, post, or railing, or any enclosure for the protection of a cemetery or mortuary, or any property in a cemetery or mortuary. Obliterates any grave, vault, niche, or crypt, destroys, cuts, breaks, or injures any mortuary building or any building statutory or ornamentation within the limits of a cemetery. Okay, so Penal Code 594.35. What's the max penalty for this? The maximum penalty is of $1,000 fine and community service. That's all it is. That's for that penal code. But it'd be charged as a felony due to the property being over $400. No, that's no. We need 0.35. Yeah, so they would get some charges. It's just not. It doesn't give me a Oh, it says is guilty of a crime and punishable by imprisonment pursuant to subdivision H of section 1170 or by imprisonment in a county jail for not exceeding 1 year. So it's only a less than 1 year jail sentence for desecrating a grave. Oh, a pair of earrings? I'd love it. My ears are not pierced though. You have to get me clip-ons. I saw the ones on Trish though. They look good. They looked really nice. Hold on, guys. Okay. All right. Let's see. Marlene Clausen said in college we used to put Mr. Bubble in the outdoor fountains. It is over 40 years ago. It was fun, but we would not do it now. There was kids who used to do this a few years ago. I saw them do it in like the shopping center fountain, and there was just bubbles everywhere. What did Moonlight say? She might work well. Did I find out why the locksmith was at the apartment yesterday? No, unfortunately. No, I didn't. I talked to my neighbor last night, but she didn't know why either. She normally knows everything, but she didn't find out, so no one knew. No idea. He was doing something. All right. Let's see if we got, what time is it? So we've been on for an hour and a half on a Friday night. Do I have one more story for us? Yes, I do. Let's finish with something nice, okay? Korn guitarist opens mental health clinic. Brian Head Welch, a guitar player in Korn, talked about his own mental health struggles when making the announcement. It says Korn guitarist Brian Head Welch has entered a partnership to launch Atlantic Behavioral Health, a mental health treatment center focusing on outpatient treatments in Massachusetts and New Hampshire areas. The facility offers individual therapy, group therapy, and medication management, and focuses on anxiety, depression, and other mental health disorders. He says, I will never ever forget the depths of the dark energy that I lived upstairs in my mind many years ago. It was truly like living in an emotional dungeon with zero light, and I couldn't find a key to get out. With the exception of a few bumps in the road over the last 20 years, I have been happiest I've ever been in my life, and I believe if I can completely change the trajectory of my mental health and emotional health, anyone can. Atlantic can be such a precious tool in helping people achieve just that. It says, in 2005, Welch left Korn saying he had chosen the Lord Jesus Christ as his Savior and will be dedicating his musical pursuits to that end. After showing up as a guest in 2012 and 2013, he rejoined the band in 2013. So that's really cool that he's decided to dedicate some of his money and time to opening up a mental health treatment facility in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. I think that is, yeah, if more people did stuff like this, the world would be a better place. She's doing all right. My grandma's doing okay. She's mostly healed now. Her eye's just going to be a few more weeks of healing, and then she'll be back to normal, back to being the normal European grandmother that she is, which is, bugging us about not visiting her more, which is, well, that's all she ever tells us about is how we don't visit her enough, even though we do see her all the time. But I think that's it for the night, everyone. I came on set on Friday night because we got so many shows to make up from when I was away. And I thought, well, for a couple of weeks, I can at least do Saturday. There is no show tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I am not here. There is the 49ers playing against the Packers. And depending on how that goes, is depending on how my mood will be. And I don't think you want Ping here when I'm going to be like really angry if we lose. Even though the Niners never lose, we're going to win. But yeah, I'd rather just be able to watch my Niners play in the playoffs tomorrow night. So we don't normally do a show on Saturday nights anyway. So I will be back Sunday night for Sunday Nights with Ping. And we have 2 new cases that we are going to look at from Australia for Sunday night. It's going to be an interesting show. And I don't think anyone in this chat will have heard of these 2 cases for the Sunday night show. I've been researching them all week. I think you all are going to love it. So it'll be great. I want to thank all the people who supported the channel over this week. It's very kind. I really appreciate it. And the people who like and subscribe or leave a comment or come to the chat each night, you are amazing. And the people who send in donations are very, very kind. That, it really helps out, especially with the crazy costs we've had in the last 2 weeks. Oh, my throat. What the hell? I think, what is going on? Throat, you have to be good. Especially with what's going on in the last couple of weeks. I mean, locking myself out of the house was not a clever idea. And then we did this area, so this took us a while. I promise never to do that again on microphone. Yeah, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow night. And not tomorrow night, Sunday night. Jeez, tomorrow is Sunday for me, not you. And yeah, that's it. Have a great Saturday night, or what's left of it. I mean, Friday night, and have a great Saturday. I won't be here. And if you do go for the Niners, have a great night tomorrow night, whether win or lose. And don't attack people like the Kansas City people did. That would be horrible. We don't need to kill anyone. That would be horrible. I don't want any Niner fans doing that. And go Niners. Go Niners. This is our year. Good night, everyone. Have a great rest of your Friday. And for the Aussies, have a great rest of your Saturday. Yeah, peace out. See you later.